Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So I was thinking about something today while I was running. I was actually listening to an audio program, one of the great courses on Transcendentalists. The Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, and others. And there's some really interesting concepts. Like I think it's a fascinating topic. I'll probably do a book review. If you're interested in my book reviews, you can check out the series I have on book reviews, but I'll probably add that to it, even though it's an audiobook or audio program. But it really got me thinking about this topic that I think is really important, especially a lot of you young people out there that are watching these videos. I know a lot of you are around 18, 19, some younger. And and I've talked about these concepts before, but I really wanted to tell you today that you shouldn't follow anyone, that you should follow your own path, that you've got to make your own path. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that was one of the things that Transcendentalists sort of pioneered, is this idea that you could think freely and make your own decisions about life and what you wanted to do with life and what you believed in, and that someone else couldn't tell you these things, right? And I think that there was sort of this awakening, in the mid 1800s to early 1900s, and we sort of fell away from that in the last. We've sort of gone back to fundamentalism to some degree. I know that sounds a little bit weird because everyone thinks that they're unique and original and free thinkers, but we're really rigidly in a system. The thing is that I think a lot of us we see all this freedom of whatever speech and all this stuff, and what we don't see is that we're actually in a bowling alley and we're in the gutter, and there's two lanes, or rather we're on a bowling lane and there's two gutters on the side of us. It just seems wide because you can go left and right within that, but you've still got those two gutters. And the reality of the situation, which I think the Transcendentalist movement sort of brought about, was this idea that there are no gutters. There is no bowling lane. It's up to you. You can go wherever you want. So there's a lot. You got to pick your own path, right? You got to do what is right for you, and you got to figure that out, and no one is going to tell you that in life, right? And it's your job to figure that out, right? It's the purpose of life is for you to figure that out for yourself, and then to go down the path. You got to kind of pick out, what do you think is right? And that's what you got to do. And you got to be wise. You got to take input from different sources. You got to learn. You got to get knowledge and wisdom on the journey. But ultimately, you've got to take all that stuff and you've got to decide. You can't let other people tell you. You can't let other people tell you how to live your life or what values you should have or what is right or what is correct. And you've got to decide for yourself. And that goes even for me, right? It's great that if you watch my videos, it's great if I can give you some advice and I can help you in some part of your life. But my path is not your path, right? Don't become a follower of me more than you become a follower of anyone else. Yes, it's great if you watch my videos, and I appreciate you all. You know that I do. But my path is not your path, right? For some of you, you might be on a similar path as me. For some of you, what I've figured out and the road that I'm going might be the same road or a very similar road. But for most of you, it's not going to be. For most of you, sometimes you're going to disagree with me. And it's not going to be a matter of who's right and who's wrong. It's going to be what is right for you, for your path. And it sounds kind of weird for me saying that, because I'm not saying there's relativistic morality or things like that, or that there's a sliding scale of truth. No, there's universal and principles. There's universal truth. There's principles that hold within the universe, within nature, within the reaping and sowing. Right? That's a principle. You can't get around that. But the thing is, it's still can be seen in different lights, and it can still lead you down different paths, and you've got to pick that path. And that's something that I'm telling you this because I realized this perhaps a little too late in my life, right? I'm only 36. I'm still young, but the thing is, like, I wish I would have figured this out earlier, because I probably would have been further down the path that I am now, had I had known this, right? I'd always believed that my life was more limited, that I had to do what people said, that this was appropriate and this is not appropriate. And sometimes, I think some people, they come to my channel and they're like, this is not professional. You can't do a video in a tank top and say fuck. You can't talk about porn or masturbation. You can't say that kind of stuff. You can't talk about, sexism or sexuality or masculinity or, gender roles. That doesn't, oh gosh, that's just not right, John. You can't do that. Well, watch me. I'm going to do it, right? And it's not to provoke. It's not because, whatever. It's because it's my path, right? And I don't care, right? And that's the thing is like I said, you don't have to be like me. You don't have to be a spectacle. You don't have to do what other people, even me, tell you. Instead, you got to do what is right for you. You got to choose your path, and it's up to you, right? You got to figure these things out, right? No one can tell you, and everyone will. And this is the other side of it. Everyone will try and tell you. Everyone's going to tell you that you're crazy. Everybody's going to tell you that you're wrong. Everybody's going to tell you it's not going to work, right? They're going to tell you a million reasons why you're going to fail, or why it's inappropriate, or why what you're saying doesn't make sense. And sometimes they're going to be right. And sometimes you got to take a good hard look at what you're doing and say, am I really just crazy? But when you know it, when you're going from what you feel is right, you got to go. You got to push it. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. And sometimes you're going to hit dead ends. And sometimes you're going to hit walls. But you're going to find your own way. It's better, to live a life and mess up and have failures and get your knees skinned, right? And make lots of mistakes, but for them to be your mistakes, than to live the perfect life that your parents want you to live, that your church wants you to live, and your neighbors want you to live, and your wife and your husband or your kids and whoever it is in your family wants you to live, but it's not your life. You're going to regret that at the end of your life, but you're not going to regret the choices. If you go out there and you give it and you push it and you figure out where you're at, so anyway, that it's a big topic, but I thought I would bring this up because I think there's a lot of, like I said, I think as I was listening to this transcendentalist kind of movement, I realized that we have sort of fallen back. We have sort of, as a society, a lot of us, a lot of young people, a lot of not just young people, but a lot of people today have sort of fallen back to this old mentality, this very constrained thinking of what is correct. We call it political correctness, maybe, but it's more than that. It's like there is one path. It's like everyone suddenly says, "Oh no, this is definitely the way," or "This is definitely," or how about this argument all the time? Science. I'm sick of hearing that shit. You don't know. you take a textbook and you believe that is the absolute gospel. I don't know. Maybe not. There's more. Science is always being proven itself wrong. We got to stop thinking in such limited fashion and realize that, kind of like the Transcendentalists, the whole idea of Transcendentalism, what does it mean? It means like outside of the five senses, there's more to reality than what we can just see, feel, touch, smell, hear, and observe in reality. There's another element there. So, anyway, that's it. The deep thoughts for today. If you like this channel, subscribe, and if you want to join the community of other people going out there and doing their own thing and figuring it out and help each other out, check out the Patreon page. You can sign up for a $5 pledge. You support the channel. We don't have ads, or get rid of ads, and you get to join in an awesome community of a lot of people. Plus, there's other rewards at other levels if you'd like that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.